The morning after Chief Perez's gunnery exhibition was as bleak as the day before. We continued towards Truk, our new patrol area. Later in the day, at least the sky has cleared, but the sea has been rough as before. Halfway towards Truk, we ran into a Japanese convoy, one cargo passenger ship with plenty of escort. I haven't used many of my torpedoes yet, so we prepared an ambush. I think 3 torpedoes might have been an overkill. 2 hit, and the ship went down very quickly. Probably 1 would have sufficed. I don't know why Japanese bother to send escorts with their convoys. In most conditions, they give us no trouble at all. We escaped quickly and easily, and continued towards Truk. Later in the day, we received a message notifying us of an enemy task force, most likely heading towards Truk. I ordered full ahead, hoping to intercept them before they got there. We got there in time. Evening, December 8th, we detected a large IJN task force. It was moving in 2 columns, and that gave me an idea. I would position Skipjack in the middle of the columns and fire both bow and aft torpedo tubes. The sea was still rough, and I decided to fire from as deep as I could by sonar only. It's less precise, but we were firing from a point-blank range. That should help.
Firing tube 1. Firing tube 3. Firing tube 2. Firing tube 4. Torpedo either 1.
Shortly, we heard 3 explosions. The first one was massive. But I couldn't pay too much attention to it. I still had my stern tubes to fire. I fired all our 4 stern tubes at what our sonarman said was most likely a heavy cruiser. We heard 2 explosions, and later on, noise of a ship breaking up. I have no idea what we sent to the bottom. When we got to a periscope depth again, we saw an Issei-class battleship burning and a stationary Congo next to it. Most likely the CEO of the task force was moving his flag, but the stationary Congo I could not pass. Congo was hit, but despite trailing burning fuel, it still maintained speed. I decided to risk surfacing and racing ahead of it. Night, heavy swell, and our low silhouette made us near invisible and allowed us to get in position. But I had just my last forward torpedo. I aimed at between two stern turrets, hoping to disable it, but the fuel leak doomed the ship. All we had to do now was to head back and deal with the stricken Issei. She was almost stationary, so it didn't matter that all we had left were stern torpedoes. But would 4 do? After the first one hit, my hopes weren't high. The second torpedo must have struck something critical, as she blew up and went down. I took the boat up, so the crew could have a look, and then we headed home. I expected that trip home to be uneventful, so what was my surprise when midway from Truk we ran into our good friend, the remains of the task force we hit before. We still had 2 torpedoes, so why not use them? Skipjack raced on surface to get into position, and then fired the last 2 torpedoes at what looked like a small turret. With just 2 torpedoes, I hoped that at best we would do some damage and slow her down, forcing the task force to turn back. Imagine my surprise when she blew up after a hit from a single torpedo. December 13, a Sunday, not a Friday. And we were finally back in Brisbane. Looking back, I would say that with this patrol we used up enough luck for the rest of the war. So I'm glad we made it back sound and safe. While I was taking the boat in, I noticed our old S-35 in the corner. What a fitting end.